Well, my name is Bayo Osiyemi. I am a prince, and I was born 74 years ago, and I went to primary schools in my native town of Ijebu before I went to Ibadan Methodist High School for my secondary education. After I had a number of professional courses and trainings, both in the United States and the United Kingdom. I have transversed the journalistic plane for over 40 years, starting life as a rookie reporter in the Nigerian Tribune before I moved on to the defunct Daily Express at Apongbon in central Lagos, from where I moved into the Daily Times and left for a few years attachment at the Nigerian Tide office in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, before returning back to the Daily Times. It was from the Daily Times that Alhaji Jakande invited me to join him in his quest to become the first civilian governor of Lagos State in 1978. And from day one, I was with him all through the electioneering period that we won massively under the banner of the Unity Party of Nigeria. When he was sworn in on October 1, 1979, he appointed me as chief press secretary. And I was with him throughout his first term into his second term, which was rudely aborted by the military regime of Muhammad Buhari. After that, of course, I went back to my first love, which is journalism. And I was privileged under John West Publications Limited at Ogba to start off the first afternoon newspaper in Lagos, known as Lagos News, with the apt motto of the afternoon paper for the people of Lagos by those who know Lagos. And when that newspaper ran, it was a bestseller in the States. We were only selling in Lagos area alone. I was selling more than some so-called national newspapers at the time. Of course, after my stint in John West, I went to start off my own advertising and public relations company, known as the PMB Communications Limited, with its offices at 105 Ikorodu Road, Nibobi. That organization achieved a measure of success in so many areas. For example, we were the PR consultant to Otumba Dr. Mike Adeni Adenuga when he was running the WorldSpan Limited, Consolidated Oil, Defcon Merchant Bank, and Equatorial Trust Bank. We handled all his advertising and public relations jobs at that time. Another momentous event event that we had the privilege to be part of was the promotion of the musical duet between King Sunny Ade and the now departed Oyeka Owenu, titled Wait for Me. That was a massive publicity bliss when we made the whole country believe that Sunny and Oyeka were to go into the musical wedding of the century. A lot of people raise questions. Why will a well-read Oyeka go to marry Sunny Ade? Is it because Sunny Ade has made money? Why will such a person go and marry a less educated person? So it aroused so much curiosity that when the record now came out, it sold out in millions on the first day of its release. That record was sponsored by the then Family Planning Council of Nigeria to assist in curbing unbridled birth rate in the country. And I am happy to say that in all the advertising and public relations assignments that we carried out under my aegis, they were immense successes. Of course, I'm more known these days as a politician. But my first love is journalism. Politics is to me a second address. If I opt out of politics today, I continue my life as a professional journalist. I think I've gone through the story from the beginning to this point. Thank you. The number one journalist in this country, as at that time, was the late Alhaji Jakande. In his journalistic endowments, he earned his preeminence not lightly. And that was why he was, to date, the first Black African to become president of the number one media organization in the world, which is the International Press Institute. Now, I passed through him when I was working in the Daily Times, and I would not know what he saw in me, that when he decided to run for the governorship of Lagos State, he invited me to come and join him to handle his press and public relations matters. And I was a bit hesitant because it was going into an unknown world. I'd never been in politics before. But I consulted widely with my cousin, the late Senator Olabi Idrojai. I consulted also with the late Alhaji Ganiu Olawale Daudu and the late member of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Honorable Ojekunle Pereira. And finally, the leader of Afenifere, Senator Ibrahim Adesanya. All of them encouraged me to take the plunge, assuring me that they knew that Jakande would win that election. But still, I was undecided until Alhaji Jakande himself called me and said he had investigated that I would need to pay Daily Times 2 months' salary in lieu of notice before I could leave, because he wanted me immediately. And he sent in that check to the Daily Times. That was how my foray into journalism began. And I thoroughly enjoyed it because we transversed every nook and cranny of Lagos State. And today, I can claim to know Lagos State so intimately as I know the lines of my palm. It was an enriching experience, and I'm happy to be part of the administration that released the potentials of Lagos State to become what other governors after Jakande have been building on to make Lagos the center of excellence. A political image maker, the challenges were enormous. For example, during the electioneering campaign, we had a program of electioneering campaign on a daily basis for several months. There was no day that we don't go out to campaign. And the other aspirants, especially the MPP candidate, late Chief Adeniro Ogunsanya, they were epileptic in their own political operations. It was not every day that they were going out to campaign. But because we were campaigning every day and we were inundating the media houses with our activities, which were verifiable, which they themselves verified, we were always in the news. And the accusation was that the press was partisan because Jakande was a journalist like them. But I debunked it and said, no, Jakande was working. It is the duty of the media to report actions and not inaction. If the other candidates were not working, what will the media report? It was a big challenge. And another major challenge I faced was when, during that same electioneering campaign, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, who was the presidential candidate of the Nigerian People's Party, NPP, had cause to put down Alhaji Jakande in a press statement, calling Alhaji Jakande a hired writer, simply because Alhaji Jakande made allusion to the fact that those who wanted to lead this country must first perform their civic obligations, and that if Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe was in default in the payment of his income tax, then if he was disqualified or if he had issues with the tax office, he should not blame anybody but himself for being negligent in not paying his taxes as and when due. I put up a rejoinder on behalf of Alhaji Jakande against the statement of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, a venerated nationalist. And the press statement was polite, matured, professional, and thoroughly indisputable. And that ended it. Of course, when I became press secretary to the governor, of course, we had challenges. Challenges of reacting to publications that were incorrect, publications that were done in bad faith. And to God be the glory, when I was in charge, Alhaji Jakande, of all the governors of Nigeria, enjoyed the best press at the time. Incidentally, I was the youngest press secretary in the whole country at the time, When I was appointed in 1979 October, I was 29 years of age. From that time till today, there is no press secretary, either to any state governor or to any president of this country, who is that young. Of the Mandate Movement, what is first expected of one is to be fair-minded, is to be thorough, and is to be candid enough to call Kant and Hamburg by their real names. As the leader of all in the Mandate Movement, I'm expected to rise above pettiness and partisanship, because my main concern is to lead the Mandate Movement to victory in all elections that we are going to be contesting in Lagos State, from Mushin and ODI-OLOWO. And in that capacity, I need to work 24 hours a day to ensure that I lead from the front and I lead to electoral victory. Generation is to, first of all, believe in their Creator and to try as much as is possible to act in consonance with the principles of justice, fairness, fearlessness, and justness. To exhibit these attributes is not easy, but if one is committed to implementing these attributes in leadership position, if one refuses to be distracted by side comments, gossips, innuendos, blackmail, and slander, if one does not permit any distractions, you are focused on your mission, there is no way success will not attain your endeavors. I thank God that whether in the profession of journalism or in my political journey, I've displayed those attributes that today make me an exemplar. And I'm proud to say that.